the keys are to the glory days at the stick. From who's got it better than us to brick by brick. It's always the 49ers way, from off-season to game day. Yeah, we talk back. It's the 49ers Cutback.
It's 49ers Cutback Podcast time, and today we're going to be talking about a lot of fun stuff because we're going to be breaking down 3 players that have meant a lot to the 49ers that are probably going to mean a lot to the 49ers in the future, and we're going to give you video to show what they mean to the team, and we're going to break it all down so that way you know what we know about the 49ers.
Yeah, some of these guys are guys you might not know a whole lot about. Some of them are going to be guys you do know a whole lot about, but we're going to explain the reason why we think these guys are important and why we think they're going to be important players for years to come on the Niners, and maybe they're going to replace a guy that's leaving in the offseason as a free agent.
Bingo.
Absolutely. This is going to be key. It's huge. I think this is something we've all been looking forward to. This is something that's been in the works for quite some time, and now it's going to come to fruition. We get to see the fruits of our labor and the fruits of our thought processes and how we break down this film and how we look and evaluate guys here on the 49ers Cutback Podcast.
Yeah, we're gonna get into this, and it's gonna be fun because the 3 players that we're talking about today are 3 impact players for the 49ers, and my guy is Deebo Samuel. I'm gonna be talking all about Deebo because Deebo plays with such versatility for the 49ers. He can do so much, and I'm gonna make sure that we talk about and illustrate what exactly he does, because I think it was evident this season that when Deebo was on the field, the 49ers offense was so much better than when he wasn't. It was real apparent, even more than George Kittle, I thought, what he meant to the team. So I want to talk about that. And plus, I want to explain why I always talk about the horizontal offense. I always bring it up, and I want people to understand what exactly I mean by horizontal offense. And because we got the Yak Bros, I want to talk about the run after the catch. So we're going to illustrate all the things that Deebo Samuel can do. Let's roll the first clip. All right, in this play, you're going to see Deebo go in motion. He's getting the ball on a fly sweep, and he's coming around. Now, there's fantastic blocking, but what this is doing is showing versatility. Deebo doesn't just catch passes, but also he can run the ball. And by doing this and getting to the edge, it's going to establish a play action. You've seen Mullins running the fake right there. They could easily slip guys out. If you notice pre-snap, they're actually going to be moving linebackers with Deebo as the ball is going. So these guys are going to start moving with Deebo all the way across. You see Jordan Reed kind of looking like he's going to block down. If he would have broke back out, he'd have been open. So that's the kind of stuff that Deebo is going to do for the offense. He's going to bring the flexibility and just the stress on the defense. That's what's really important. A simple fly sweep like this picks up big time yardage. Of course, he finishes it off with something, strong, but this allows the 49ers offense to click on all cylinders. You need Deebo Samuel in this offense doing these kind of versatile plays and getting horizontal. They stretch the defense horizontally. They can't cover all these guys. They make good angles for the linemen and receivers to be able to block, and that's why you're going to get great blocking downfield. Ross Dwelley making a great block right there. This is a fantastic play to watch, and just one of the examples of what Deebo Samuel can do for your offense. With Deebo on the field, there's just so much that the 49ers can do. The next clip I'm going to show is going to be very important because this is a 3rd and 7 at the end of the game, and the 49ers really don't want to throw the ball. But by running this type of play, they can get the ball to one of their playmakers, and he can make it. So here we go. We have the same thing we just saw in the previous clip. He's going to get to the outside. Now, what's important, look at the physicality to get the first down. Deebo Samuel just stressing the defense. You can see it. He ends the game right here. He makes the horizontal offense come to fruition. Everyone's making blocks. We got Jet McKinnon out in front. But the stress that Deebo Samuel puts on an offense or on defense, just with the way he plays, and the fact that it's 3rd and 7, everyone else is trying to throw to get a first down or running it and just hoping to get it. With Deebo, you know you can get it. Everyone's collapsing, and it doesn't matter. He's just a physical runner, and the run after is so important. Deebo Samuel plays like a running back, and yet he still has receiver skills. He's definitely one of the best, and he's the one that really brings Kyle Shanahan's offense to the full fruition. Deebo Samuel can really hurt you as a defense through the passing game as well. He just has different ways to do it. It's not just a vertical threat. He doesn't just get up the field, but he can also do things behind the line of scrimmage, catch it, and make plays with his legs. And it also frees it up for the 49ers to make it so people can't send so many blitzes. They were loading the box all year, and when Deebo's playing, it kind of takes some of the pressure off the O-line and the pressure off the quarterback. And in the next clip, you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. So on this play, they're going to run a wide receiver screen this way. You're going to see Tomlinson and Trent Williams leak out. Deebo makes a great catch. Kyle Shanahan had all the offensive linemen going up the other way. They were selling the run with Juice leading the way. And then it's easy throw for Mullins. He's able to get it out there. And then it's just Deebo making a play after that. And this is the kind of thing that they can do, and it takes stress off the quarterback and stress off the offensive line eventually. Look at everyone going with it. Everyone was sold out. It's a fantastic play design. And then Deebo Samuel, because of his skill set, being able to run after the catch, he's going to make a great play right here. The fact that he breaks a tackle and gets extra yardage is just showing how great Deebo really is. And this is the kind of thing that he brings to the offense that we can't get from anyone else. Yeah, Brandon Ayuk can run these type of plays, but no one does it to the level that Deebo Samuel does. And I think that Ayuk being the vertical threat and Deebo playing kind of this role where he can do everything like a Swiss Army knife is going to be big for the 49ers offense, and that's why they complement each other so well. Talking about the stress that Deebo puts on the defense is the most evident in this next clip, because, you know, with personnel groupings, the defense so often wants to be able to match up with the offense. And then when the 49ers go to an empty set and yet still have Deebo Samuel on the field, you have somebody that can still run the ball. And so this, we're going to show you exactly how they can get a matchup issue. So right now, there he goes in motion and he gets the ball, and it's just a simple toss play. But because of the personnel grouping they had mismatches all over the field, and they were able to get good blocking on the edge. And then Deebo, because of his running skills, is able to make a play. This is something big that the 49ers can do. I think this was the envision for Jalen Hurd, but Deebo can do it at a whole nother level. And if they get Jalen Hurd back and they have those two guys to go with Ayuk, it's going to be scary. But Deebo Samuel is just a fantastic player. He's a straight beast football player, not just a receiver, and that's what separates him from everyone else. There's great receivers, but this guy's a great football player. And just the way that the defense is just stressed right now, they're all spread out, stretched horizontally. He's able to get where he needs to go, great blocking, and he makes a great play. Once again, 2nd and 10 becomes 3rd and 2, and now you're able to get the first down. And this is a great way to try to convert field goals into touchdowns. That's what you need. Great playing from Deebo Samuel and the 49ers offense. So now that we've showed all the stresses that he puts on a defense and all the things that Deebo can add to an offense, I want to show something, an intangible that, you know, is really missed when he's not there. George Kittle brings it too, but Deebo brings it from the receiver position. It's a certain amount of toughness, and I want to show the next play so we can kind of show you guys what I'm talking about. Once again, Deebo stretching the defense horizontally, and then boom, he's going to make sure he gets the first down, but he doesn't go down and he keeps going. These kind of plays right here tip the momentum in your favor no matter what. And that got the 49ers going in this game, and they ended up winning this game. And a lot of it has to go with Deebo's attitude. George Kittle brings it too. Those are things that can't be taught, and we missed it every game that he wasn't playing. Is that just that aggressive style, the physical nature, him laughing after being knocked out of bounds during plays. It's on a different level. There's great receivers, there's great players, and this guy brings the attitude that you need. And this is what the 49ers need in their offense. And I think once they have him back healthy next year, Deebo Samuel is going to have a huge year. I'm telling everyone right now, he's for sure a Pro Bowler next year. All right, so on the next clip, I'm going to talk about Deebo Samuel actually running a route this time. And I want to illustrate just kind of what he does for the offense in the pass game. So go ahead and run the clip. So you're going to see him down here. He's going to run a little hook, catches the ball, and then this is that physicality again, breaking tackles and getting the first down. When we look at this clip on the run back, the quarterback should actually throw it to Jordan Reed out here. Deebo is holding those guys in place so that way Jordan Reed can get one-on-one. But yet he turns it into something, catches the ball. He should be tackled for a 3 or 4 yard gain. but because he's so physical and relentless, he gets up the field, gets a first down, has a big play, once again terrorizes the Rams defense. These are things that the 49ers miss so much without him, but with him, they're on another level. The compliment to Brandon Ayuk is going to be crazy coming up. I look for both of them to have big seasons. Brandon Ayuk will probably get 1,000 yards, and I think Deebo Samuel is going to get 1,000 all-purpose yards. I don't think it's going to be rushing, but I think he's going to have a lot running and catching the ball. So I think he's got for a big-time year next year. All right, so on the next clip, it's going to be Deebo again against the Rams being very good in the pass game. There's going to be a great design on this play. Kyle Shanahan really comes through with a great design, and Mullins actually makes the right read and throws a great pass, and Deebo does all the rest. We'll break it down as soon as this runs. So you're going to see him. He's going to come across the field in a slant, catch the ball. He catches it full speed. He doesn't have to slow down to catch the ball. The ball got into his body, but he was able to handle it, get up the field, and the run after the catch is so important. These are those kind of plays that you just can't measure. It was 3rd and 2. Now, when you're looking at the design of the play, can we pause it for a second?
Absolutely.
Go back just a little bit and then pause it. I want everyone to see Jordan Reed is going to occupy one safety, and Kendrick Bourne is going to occupy the other. Right there, pause. And as you can see, we got the safety jumping up with the linebacker to help on Jordan Reed. That shows his impact that he had when he was out there. Kendrick Bourne is running, the skinny post, and you're going to see the safety dropping down on that. So you got Deebo Samuel one-on-one, and he makes a great play coming inside. He gives him a lane to run, and he makes big-time plays. That is kind of the staple of the 49ers offense, but no one runs it to the perfection that Deebo Samuel does. And I think that once we get this going, this guy's going to be hard to stop. Great design. Kyle never has a problem with that. All he has a problem with is getting a quarterback that can get these guys the ball. And if they get a guy that can get Deebo Samuel the ball and Brandon Ayuk, this guy is going to have a big-time year. And I think people really need to start thinking about how impactful a 49ers offense will look with Deebo Samuel in his 3rd season, because nobody plays like this guy in the league. There are lots of guys that they want to be like him, but there's nobody like him. So what do you guys think about Deebo Samuel's impact on the team next year?
I think it's huge. We were just commenting, I think he reminds me of a John Taylor type player. He can have that type of impact.
Yeah, definitely.
Extremely versatile, too, as you said. I think that's kind of the thing everyone notices, but I think once you, especially the clips you picked out, highlight it. They show not only how versatile, but why he's so important to the offense, why the offense looked like a completely different offense with him not on the field. He just does too many things, and he does too many things extremely well.
Yeah.
He doesn't do one thing like really good. He does a lot of things really good, if not great. And that just makes him that much more of a Swiss Army knife in this offense.
Yeah, can't wait to see him in the offense next year. Horst, who's your player? And tell us all about him. I want to see this one. I know who it is. I want to see this breakdown.
My player is Tarvarius Morre. He's a defensive back, number 33. He was a 3rd-round pick in 2018 out of Southern Mississippi. He was a raw prospect coming out. He only started 1 year in Division I. He was a JUCO guy. He was drafted more on measurables than tape. He's 6'2", 200 pounds. He runs a 4.32 second 40 with a 39-inch vert. So he's an explosive, athletic guy. He needed to be coached up a lot coming out of college. He's the first about year and a half he was in the Niners. He mostly made his mark on special teams. He had that one game against the Bears that he had to start and got kind of embarrassed in his rookie year. He's improved a lot since then, and this guy is the reason I think it's okay to let Kowalski Tart go. So he became well known after the interception versus the Chiefs in the Super Bowl to your average fan. You can roll that clip. So here he's in cover 2. He sits back, no one's deep. He comes up to help on the tackle, and the ball bounces off Tyreek Hill right into his hands. I mean, is that his greatest play? No, but this is the first play he became known for, and it's an example of what being in the right place, doing the right things at the right time can do for you. Because if you see, he's laid back, he sees Mahomes start to throw to Hill right there. He comes flying up to help with the tackle. Oh, ball bounces. That's a turnover. At the time, a lot of people thought that was the game-clinching turnover. Turned out not to be so, as we all know how the rest of that game would go. But Tarvarius Morre would be thought about a lot differently had the Niners won this game. He would have been like a hero of that game. And unfortunately, it didn't go that way. But this is the first of quite a few big plays he would have. This next play is going to illustrate what I said about him being a fantastic effort and special teams player. So here the Niners are punting. We're in the fourth quarter. It's an important moment. Niners up 2 scores with about 10 minutes left. Hustles down there. Makes a fantastic effort play to keep the ball in bounds. Out of the end zone. If you notice, like Alex said, he's about 20 yards further than the other gunner down the field. Uses that 4.3 speed to get down there. He's big, he's strong, he's fast. He out-hustled the guy on the Rams, got to the ball. It just makes that's just a fantastic football play. Right there. Keeping the ball inside right there. And there's one more view right here to show you just how close that ball came to going in the end zone. We've got the silly guy on the Rams pointing that it's a touchback. He knows it's not. The next play I'm bringing up illustrates that he is a great player coming up, making tackles into the short passing and the run game. Shows that he can be that in the box safety. If you look here, Cam looks that way. Stares him down, boom, 3rd and 4, prevents that from being a first down. To the naked eye or to the casual fan, you might not understand how important or how hard that tackle is, but how often do you watch a football game, see a running back catch a ball in the slants, or flats, make a guy miss, and he gets that first down? Making that tackle is so important in the NFL. Coming up, wrapping up, driving your feet, he does all of it. Just a perfect tackle, and now it's 4th down and the Patriots are forced to punt instead of getting another chance at moving the ball down the field. If you watch the playoffs today, Alvin Kamara probably had 4 of these where he shook the first guy up and got a first down. It's very important to make those tackles, keep their offense off the field. The next play is a similar idea. It's a pass out in the flats. You can go ahead and roll it to Kenyon Drake, who's a very dangerous player with the ball in his hands. He comes flying up, boom, wrap, grabs cloth, pulls him down. You're not getting away. Same idea. He's preventing you. Now it's 2nd and 7 instead of a first down or 2nd and 1. That's a big play. You're holding them to no yards after the catch. They always talk about that yak or rack number on TV, and that's the yards you gain after you make a tackle. For him to come flying up here against as good a running back as Drake and make this tackle, not let go, is another sign that he's ready. He's ready to play that in the box safety role. And I think he's going to become a lot cheaper than Jaquiski Tartt. My final play for you guys is the play that shows how well he can do in coverage. He's an athletic guy to go with. I've already shown that he can bring the wood when he needs to. This play kind of combines both. Starts the Cardinals. He's up like he's blitzing. Then he drops back deep right before the snap. The throws to the middle to Christian Kirk. Boom. Separates man from ball. Christian Kirk is not making that catch. And the best thing about it, he's right there, number 33. He drops back right before the snap where Murray doesn't see it. He thinks he has this guy beat. Boom. Great play call, first of all, by Sala, but great execution of the play by Moore to separate that. That would have been a touchdown. They were forced to kick a field goal. The Niners end up winning that game. So that was a huge play in that game. So it shows that he's got good ball skills. He's has good awareness and coverage. They evidently had seen him blitz before and were ready for it, because Murray, when he shows it, checks to it. So they were fully expecting a blitz. He gets back there quick enough to break up that pass play, stops a touchdown. So, and the big thing, he hit him in what they call the strike zone, which is a legal place to lay a big hit on someone. So he's not costing your team 15 yards. He's not aiming for the head. He puts his shoulder through his chest like you're supposed to. So I think we see there how the kind of things that Moore brings to the table and how much he's improved since his first year in the league. I think he's got the ability to be a big-time starter in this league for a long time.
Yeah, I enjoyed especially that last clip, the disguising coverage, using him to disguise coverage, using his skills as a blitzer and someone who can hit hard and plays well in the box, using his presence to make a quarterback think one thing, and then you show him something completely different, dropping him back, almost into a cover 2 look, and just sitting on that little post route from Kirk and just laying the hammer down on him legally, as you added and pointed out. It's great. It's good to see, and it makes him more diverse, makes the defense more diverse. You can do a lot of different things when you got a guy who can play that well in the box and that well in coverage.
Yeah, the diversity. When Horst was showing the film and bringing that up, that's the most important thing, is the diversity of him and Jimmy Ward being able to play together, play in the box, play in coverage, also cover. Both these guys are fantastic, and I mean, I think they're going to take it to another level for the 49ers this year. Horst, that was a great segment, because Tarvarius Morre is someone the 49ers need to watch, because they're going to have to make a decision on him after this next year, because after that he's going to be a free agent. So all eyes are going to be on him, but I think he can help take the 49ers secondary to another level. So big ups for that one.
Yeah, I agree with that. So next, we all know that I'm not the biggest fan of the pretty guys like the guy I just broke down, but I do it because I love it. Next, Alex over here is going to break down one of the beautiful young men that play on the line.
He is beautiful. I don't know if he's so much young. He's pretty beautiful. He's not on the old side yet. He ain't there. I'm older than Laken Tomlinson, as I can tell you that right now. But Laken Tomlinson, one of the guys who I feel is an unsung sort of hero. You guys hyped him up a lot in the offseason, preseason leading up to this year as a guy that was going to have a big year. And he's one of those guys who doesn't put the big stat stuff up. He doesn't do a lot of things that you're not seeing a lot of pancakes. He does have his pancake blocks. He does have his big blocks at spring guys. But he does a lot of the little things really, really well that make him very not only functional in the offensive line, but it holds up that left side of the line with Trent Williams. And one of the first things up on this list is a nice little stunt pickup from him here against the Giants earlier this season. The guy rusher off that left side of the line, rushes in, trying to split between the double team of him and Trent Williams is picking up the D end on the outside. And as he tries to split between Trent Williams and Laken Tomlinson, the outside DN tries to stunt inside up in the gap, and Laken Tomlinson recognizes it. He lets his man that he was originally covering moving to his left towards Trent Williams go, and sits in space for the DN that's stunting coming up over the top. He does this frequently. He does this a lot. The next clip that I have is a very similar clip of him doing and accomplishing the same thing. It's really hard to fool him when he's on his game, and when him and Trent Williams are dialed in, that left side of the line is a brick wall. You are not getting past in there. You are not going to get through and put pressure on the quarterback. And when you got right-handed passers, you want that blind side protected. Laken Tomlinson is half the reason why that left side is as dominant and such a brick wall that they've been for the 49ers the last couple seasons. Up next, again, as I said, it's a stunt as well. Another stunt showing just the grace that this man plays with. But this time the stunt's going to be coming from the inside, not the outside. Stunt's going to come from the guard that's lined up. The nose tackle, kind of playing the 3 technique, defensive tackle on the inside. Now, ignore the pick that is thrown there by Mullins. That's not important. What is important is that as the stunt occurs with the 2 defensive tackles, Laken Tomlinson rides his man inside towards their center, and as the stunt comes across the other side, he slides over, kicks him out, creates a nice, big, fat, huge open window right down the middle. Unfortunately, some of our other offensive linemen don't fare so well on this play, and Nick Mullins has shown that he has a very bad lack of being able to throw under pressure and leaves the ball significantly too high for a receiver. But the key thing here is again, if you only have one issue on this play, one breakdown or one issue, then it's a lot easier to correct this mistake later, or again, getting your quarterback comfortable in space, knowing where his weaknesses are on the line or where the pressure may be coming from. It isn't coming from this left side of the line here. Nick Mullins should know that and should recognize that in the future for whatever team he ends up playing for, because it probably won't be the 49ers. But at the end of the day, Laken Tomlinson again demonstrating his ability to stay low in space, not get up tall, recognize stunts when they're coming, and being able to pick them up so that the pressure isn't coming up the middle. It's coming from the outsides, which should give your quarterback plenty of time to step up in the pocket if they need to make a good throw on the money and extend drives. Laken Tomlinson, you freaking savage. The next clip demonstrates not just the man's smarts and football intellect, but his athleticism and the speed. The man is fast, he's aggressive, he can get up to second level. And in this clip, boy, does he ever get up to second level. It is absolutely impressive. It's a nice little stretch run play where they're trying to get a nice little cutback lane. Unfortunately, we do have one gentleman who misses a block. We won't discuss that right now. But what you do see is a nice push up the field to second level, almost driving his D lineman back about a good 5 yards on the play. He does most of the work himself. He gets a little bit of help there at the very end of the play, but Laken Tomlinson shows how dominant he is, especially on run plays when he can just fire off the ball. He doesn't have to worry about picking up a stunt or anything like that. The man can do more than just pass block. The man can help create big, huge, fat lanes and push defenders downfield to create huge running lanes. And he's part of the reason why the 49ers run game was so successful in 2019. I know it took a dip back this last season. Some of that may be on the O-line. Some of that may be on the people who were, I don't know, having to audible in and out of plays and checking to and out of runs. Maybe, who knows, but at the end of the day, if Laken Tomlinson continued to block like this, you have nothing really to worry about in the future. This O-line is going to be a force to reckon with. The last clip here we got of Laken Tomlinson demonstrates his ability to be smart in the run game as well as dominant, his ability to control his footwork, and his ability to get his hips around and seal. At the left guard position here, on the snap, they're going to make a nice little reverse action play to George Kittle, who comes off on a sweep. We have a guy who misses a block on the edge, so George Kittle only gets about 2-3 yards, but Laken Tomlinson does a great job of studying his man up, taking him inside, getting his hips flipped and turned around so that George Kittle can run right off his behind into the big, fat, wide open gap and hole we have here. It is a great job of firing off the ball, staying low, using his momentum to drive his guy inside, and then once his man starts to get a little bit upfield on him, get his hips around and seal off the hole so that Kittle has an area and the gap to run into. He's really great at doing this. This was one of the ones that I highlighted for me because Kittle was coming across the formation down the line. Any other guy, if you have an average NFL guard here, lets this guy break through and blows this play up in the backfield for a loss of 2, or at least makes Kittle have to bounce out super wide and then ends up running backwards, and it's a cluster F of a play, and you're sitting there wondering, why in the world would Kyle Shanahan call something like this? But Laken Tomlinson's able to get control of the man, get him out of the gap that they're trying to run into, get his hips flipped around, hold off that edge, and basically just say, not happening, you're not going here, this is where my dude's running, he gets to run where he wants. And George Kittle was able to take a play that should have been a loss for probably about 2-3 yards and turn it into about a 2-yard gain. And stuff like that is huge in this run game and with this offense, because if you can take plays that should be negative plays and you got guys making plays like this with Laken Tomlinson to help them turn them into slightly positive plays, that keeps you from moving backwards, that keeps your offense moving forwards, and it gives your team a chance to convert third downs, continue pushing the ball downfield, and put touchdowns on the board when you need them. So as you can see, Laken Tomlinson, stud on the left side of that line. Guys, what are you thinking?
Yeah, he's big time. He really, he struggled, I think, the first couple games, and a lot of people got down on him. But after that, you didn't hear much from his position. You didn't hear his name called very much, and that usually is a good sign for an interior lineman. He's an excellent interior lineman. I think that he's somebody the 49ers can rely on. Hopefully they can re-sign Trent Taylor, because I think that grouping together will be fantastic.
Trent Williams.
Oh, man, not Trent Taylor. Get rid of him.
It's a strange grouping.
That would be a real strange grouping. Yeah, that'd be weird.
Yeah, my fault. Trent Williams. But yeah, the way he sets up and the way he blocks is fantastic. He's just got good, handwork with it. The way he always has his hands placed in the right way is really good. He's a good offensive lineman. So, Horst, what do you think? Yeah,
I think anyone who watches this show knows I'm a big fan of Laken. I think he's a top 5 to 8 guard in the NFL. I think he's a really, really good player, and that goes with, I think he fits the scheme he runs very well.
Right.
I don't know if he'll ever get selected for a Pro Bowl. He probably should have in 2019, but he's a guy that you want to keep around here as long as he wants to be here, because that guy can play football. You very rarely see his name mentioned, which, like you said, is what you want out of a guard.
Yeah, so we broke down these 3 players, and we're going to be breaking down some more, so you're going to want to make sure you pay attention and follow the channel, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when the next one comes up, because we've got a lot more video breakdown and a lot more to go on these 3 guys. And of course, we're going to be breaking down these guys as far as grades as well. We're going to give these 3 guys grades on their season performance. Horst, what do you give Deebo Samuel as far as grade?
I think I'm going to give Deebo an incomplete, because we never really saw his true impact on the team. We saw it in bursts, and I totally agree with you that Deebo is a player unlike any other in the league right now. He's fantastic, but because he played so few games, and even half the games he played, he was hurt during them, I think I'd give him an incomplete.
Fair. I would say incomplete also, but in all honesty, I'm just going to judge him based on the games he did play, and the games he did play, it's an A. It's an absolute A. Whenever he was in the game, whether it was a game in which he was game planned and schemed to be the guy that we were trying to get the ball to, or whether he was schemed and used as a decoy, he played his role fantastically and amazingly. The offense was light years better with him in the game. I get that he was injured. I get that he was hurt. I get he didn't play a lot of snaps. But I'm not going to knock the guy for coming back a little bit. She was trying to come back early from a foot injury in the offseason from working out. I'm not going to knock a guy for playing through the stuff that he played through with his knee and the quad in the middle of the season. He did everything he could to be on the field. And when he was on the field, you can tell how important it was to him. He was playing balls to the wall every snap, every time he's out there. It's an A for me.
Yeah, I'm giving him an A too, because I'm going to judge him on his performance when he was on the field. And when he was on the field, he was transcendent. He was game-changing. He took Kyle Shanahan's offense to its full potential. If we'd have had a very reliable quarterback, I think if Jimmy would have been playing more with him, a healthy Jimmy, that he would have had even more numbers. But he was still putting up numbers, and he was finishing teams off. Yeah. He's a big reason why they beat the Rams twice. I don't think they would have beat the Rams twice without him. Mm-mm. So Deebo Samuel definitely gets an A, and I look for him to grow so much more. I think he's learned a lot about his body and how he needs to train. And I think this is going to be, it's a bad year for him personally, but I think it's going to end up being very good for him and very good for the 49ers in the future. So, yeah, he's a big-time A.
So next, we'll roll over to Horst, gentlemen, the guy who likes to lay all of the wood all over the field, Tarvarius Morre. Horst, what do you have for his player grade for the season?
I would give him a B. He still had some struggles in coverage. He definitely played a lot better to the end of the year. If you're talking about the last 4 games, I'd give him like an A-. But for the whole season, like a B.
I was going to say B-. It's not a C. He didn't play average. I thought he played above average, especially towards the end of the season, as you said. And I think that's what bumps his grade up from being an average player, an average performer on the defense, to being in that category of above average, getting close to being, a guy that can be a long-term solidified solution you don't have to worry about. I still think there's some questions on him, but I don't think there's that many questions. I think a lot of his questions get answered with more playing time, more experience, more exposure to schemes, different looks, different types of players, route combinations, things of that nature. I think the more he plays, the better he's going to get. I think he showed that this year, because by the end of the season, he didn't look like the same guy who stepped on the field in the middle of the season, early in the season. So definitely a B- for me.
Yeah, I'm going to give him a B- as well. He didn't start the season, which means they didn't think he was better than the guys in front of him. So that right away doesn't mean he can be an A. I think he has A potential. He's one heck of a player. I think the defense actually improved once Jaquiski-Tartt was out, and this guy got his footing. But you couldn't tell when Jimmy Ward was out, because then Marcel Harris came in. Tarvarius Morre's role changed. But if he's in the role with Jimmy Ward and the way they were running the defense at the end of the year, his potential is so high. I think he could be a top-level starter, and that's something that the 49ers really need, the stability in the back end of the defense. So, yeah, I think he's a B-, but a lot of potential there.
All right, so our last guy was Laken Tomlinson. So we'll start with you, Alex, since he was your guy. What grade do you give him this year?
I'm going to give him a solid B. And the reason for that is outside of the first, I'm going to go with the first 3 games of the season, there weren't a whole lot of hiccups. There were a few hiccups in the Seattle game the first time that we played them, but I don't think a lot of that was on Laken Tomlinson or any of the O-line. I think that a lot of that fell on Haranis Grasu playing with Nick Mullen. We did have Jimmy that game, didn't we? We did have Jimmy. So a lot of that blame falls on Haranis Grasu. There were a lot of things that he just didn't see and didn't notice. And as much as you want to point the finger at Laken Tomlinson because, oh, he's a veteran or he's a guy who's played the system, you should be able to pick some of that stuff up. It's not necessarily his job to be calling out and directing where O-linemen are supposed to be going, who's supposed to be picking up what blitz. I remember specifically in that game, and I was going to put it in here, but it didn't really highlight a skill set other than Laken Tomlinson knowing, hey, there's this dude blitzing in this gap right next to me. Why isn't anyone picking him up? Sort of thing. When it's not my responsibility. Tomlinson is a solid guy. I wouldn't say he took a step back this year, but it definitely wasn't a great year for him. I look forward to seeing what 2021 brings with some stability at the quarterback position, a much healthier 2021 campaign for everyone involved, and what that's going to mean for his performance, because I think when he's got the supporting pieces around him too, it's more evident when he stands out. When he doesn't have the supporting pieces around him, it's a lot more obvious to point out flaws and mistakes that he's making because nothing is going right at all.
I'm going to give Laken Tomlinson an A-. I think that the kind of getting the chemistry with Trent Williams is one thing. You had a shortened camp, so they weren't able to do it. You had Weston Richburg that was hurt all season. You had Ben Garland, who was in and out of the lineup. He missed almost all of training camp with an injury. So they had guys that were just filling in at center, and it's hard to get that kind of fluidity and be able to play together in the interior line. I don't think a lot of people realize how hard it is actually for a line to play together, and especially to know what to do when you're playing with guys you're not used to playing with. That's why when you get that chemistry from playing together all the time, it's important. When Joe Staley was there, Laken Tomlinson had a certain way to play, and also with Ben Garland and Weston Richburg, I think they would have helped. But he had to get used to playing with Daniel Brunskill next to him, and he had to get used to Trent Williams. I thought overall that's why you've seen him get better as the season went on. I think his technique and skill set was fine. I think it was kind of the calls and what things were going on. So I'm going to give him an A- because I think there is room for improvement because he has potential to be a Pro Bowler. Until he gets there, he can't be A+ guy. He can be an A- guy, right on the fringe of being a B+. But I like the way he played overall.
I give him a B+, but I enjoyed watching him play this year. Like you said, the first few games he struggled. After that, he played really well. Unfortunately, the line as a whole probably is what brings him down. It's not always his fault, but sometimes it looks bad. But I still give him a solid B+. He had a good year.
So those are the player grades. Let us know what you think down in the comment section down below. Do you agree with us? You like the grades we handed out for these 3 individuals? Or do you disagree? Do you think they're worse or better? We're not showing enough love. We're not showing enough criticism. I don't know. You let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe while you're at it. But the next episode isn't going to talk about these 3 guys, are we?
Nope. There's going to be 3 whole new guys to talk about. 3 guys that we think have potential for the 49ers moving forward. Especially in 2021, we're taking a look at guys that can make an impact on the 49ers or guys who people have question marks about, and we're going to show either why they should be staying or why they should be going. And I think we're going to show a lot of why some of these guys should be staying and why Lynch and Shanahan have made some very good decisions.
Agreed.
I'm excited for it. I love doing this, and I'm doing a lineman.
Oh, Horse is excited about the line.
Shocked by that. Absolutely stunned. Absolutely stunned.
All right, guys, that ends this episode. You know what time it is. Let's chalk another one up.